to the GAB Talks by the Independent Press Award. I'm your hostess, Gabby Olzak. Today we will be speaking with Michael Dow, author of Nurse Florence, I'm Having Trouble Sleeping, winner of the 2022 Independent Press Award for Children's Fiction. Michael served in the U.S. Air Force for 8 years, then spent another 8 years as an Army Wounded Warrior advocate. He received his RN degree in 2020 from the University of Arizona. Book one of Nurse Florence debuted the same week. When he isn't writing Nurse Florence books, Michael works as an RN at an inpatient psychiatric hospital. He hails from Arizona with his wife, Perla, and his 3 children. Welcome to the GAB, Michael. So nice to meet you.
Thanks for having me.
Congratulations on your award. It's really fantastic.
Yes, thank you. I'm very honored to have gotten that award from your program.
You're welcome. And Michael, first I want to say thank you so much for your service. You obviously did some very important work in the Air Force and with the Wounded Warriors, and it's really amazing, and we all thank you. And you have way too many degrees to list, so I'll just cut to the chase. What specifically motivated you to become a nurse?
I was planning to go to medical school back in 2001. I had taken the MCAT, and then the events of September 11th happened, and I was just very angry at the terrorists. And I thought, well, maybe I should use this anger and join the military. So that's what I did. I changed career paths completely, and applied to the Air Force and became an electronic warfare officer on the EC-130 Compass Call, and did many deployments, mainly to Iraq, supporting the war on terror over there, and after being a wounded warrior advocate after the Air Force, I did that for 8 years. My GI Bill was going to expire, and I had always been thinking about medicine, doing something in the medical field. So I thought, well, if I'm going to do something, I need to do it now. And the University of Arizona had an accelerated master's program of 15 months. So that's what I decided to do. I applied, got accepted. It was one of the hardest training programs I've been through in my life.
I'm sure.
Through it, and so here I am as an RN.
Wow, that's amazing. So you got your RN degree in 2020, and then the week that you received your degree, you published your first book called Nurse Florence, I'm Bleeding. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So I wanna talk about what inspired you, first of all, to publish Nurse Florence, and why children's books? I mean, you were in the military, you worked with obviously adults, wounded warriors. Why children's books?
My mom knew that I had a love for writing, and you mentioned that I have a lot of degrees, which I do. We won't get into all that though. But I try to stay humble about that. But so she knew that I really enjoyed writing research papers and all that kind of stuff. So she said, Michael, if you ever become a writer, I bet you're going to hit it big with a kid's book. And so while I was finishing up my nursing degree, what little time I had, nursing as a profession tries to focus on self-care because like in any profession, you can get burnt out. So it's very important to be doing self-care. So I was doing some self-care, and starting to think about ideas for a kid's book during that program. And my niece, who was at that time 17 years old, I knew she loved to draw. So I thought, well, what if she could draw some pictures for a kid's book, and I would just do the text for that. And I thought, well, let's just do something basic about how, teaching kids how to stop bleeding. And so that's kind of how that evolved, is just trying to get some very basic health and science information to kids about bleeding.
Well, yeah, let's talk about the format of the book. So each book in the series deals with a different medical, science, and health issue. And
Yes.
I found it was very easy to read, but it really does discuss serious topics with some serious vocabulary, which
Yeah.
does make it very unique. So tell us about that.
Okay. One of our trademark slogans that we're in the process of getting an official registry with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office is introducing some medical words to kids in every book. So, um, and in the notes to parent page that we have in every Nurse Florence book, I discussed something that happened to me back when I was doing my prerequisites for medical school. I was a human anatomy lab assistant, and we had an older person. At that time she was older because I was in my early 20s, and she was maybe mid 30s or late
Wow,
30s.
really old, Michael.
That's not old, but she was old. She was an
Old to you. Yeah.
older student. And so I said, why are you, here? Are you getting like another degree? And she said, no, I teach at Mountain Brook Elementary. And at that school, and everybody in that city knew that Mountain Brook, that school system produced the future doctors and lawyers. And because they were so advanced in their education. And she said and she was a PE teacher at that elementary school, and she had to know human anatomy and physiology at a college level
Wow.
because the first and second graders already knew the scientific names to the muscles of the body that they were exercising.
That's pretty
And
incredible.
so that stayed in the back of my mind all these years. And so I was thinking, what if one of the reasons why that school system was producing the future doctors is because at a very early age, they're teaching them the correct names, the correct words, the correct science concepts, so that they're not having to like learn these complicated words when they're in college, but they've already learned it when they were, in elementary school.
Yeah.
So that's why we introduce medical words in every book.
So would
And
you say then your motivation with the Nurse Florence series is to produce medical professionals of the future
it is,
and
and
inspire them?
it is on the back of every Nurse Florence book. I briefly mentioned that I hope that this series produces many kids to think about the STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, and math, and to get young kids thinking about science. And because we do need more in the health professions, especially, there's a big nursing shortage that some people are aware of, but we will become more aware as the baby boomer generation starts needing more services as they already are now. But the nursing shortage is about to get really highlighted. And so my hope is that the Nurse Florence series will help produce a new generation of kids that will be interested in nursing.
That's amazing. So, I mean, really, this is an incredible journey because in 2 short years, you've published 25 Nurse Florence books. That's amazing.
Yeah.
The series has won multiple awards. It's been translated to Spanish and French. Michael, did you ever imagine it would take off like that?
No, I mean, okay, the Spanish versions are translated by my wife. She's from Mexico. So that kind of makes it easy, like on her days
It
off.
definitely helps.
Yeah, I'm like, would you please translate this next book
That's
for,
great. And
you
why
know,
not?
and then my cousin in Canada, who's got a PhD and is one of the faces in Canada for MS. She deals with that, but so she translates the books into French. So
Wow.
now it's a little bit of a family business. But yeah, there are plans to translate it into more languages. Once we really grow even more. But yes, that we've gotten Nurse Florence trademarked in the U.S., the United Kingdom. We My lawyer told me that she didn't think that we would get Nurse Florence trademarked in England because Florence Nightingale is a national hero there. She's on their money, she's on their stamps. She's got her own museum there. And so I said, well, let's try it just to see. And so it went through with that opposition. So that, to me, that's pretty amazing. We got
I
Nurse
would
Florence.
say that would be the exact reason why they would want it to be trademarked there, really. And that was my next question. So why, I mean, aside from the obvious, why specifically Nurse Florence?
It's all in homage to Florence Nightingale because she's the pioneer of modern nursing, as we like to say in the nursing profession. She's the one that helped raise money to start the first nursing school, and before that time, before 1860, nurses had no training at all. It was and really the most uneducated women usually were the nurses. So
Huh.
she totally transformed nursing and the actually the whole healthcare system, because not only did she advocate for advances in treating patients properly in England, but she did all over the world. There are other countries, like especially India, that know that they owe a great debt of gratitude towards Florence Nightingale because of how she transformed India's healthcare system. And she used her position in her upper class societal status to advocate for these healthcare reforms around the world, and it's really amazing, her story. So that's why it's Nurse Florence. If she was alive today, I hope she would be proud of what we're doing, and that we're, giving her some credit. That she's the one helping to educate all these kids.
Well, let's
But
say it's a partnership
yeah,
between you and
okay.
Nurse Florence. So, Michael, out of all of these books that you've written, the 25 books, which ones did you enjoy writing the most, and why?
Well, I don't have a favorite yet because I really enjoy all of them. The general science books that we do, we what I try to do is I give a gold nugget piece of information in every book, to get the kids leaving the book with maybe more curiosity about the world and about science and things like that. And so that's really fun to do. And then the disease books, that's really fun for me to do too, because we explore the physiology of the disease and the treatment of the disease and prevention strategies. So not only am I helping kids learn, but when I dive deep into these topics, I'm learning, some things too to sharpen my nursing skills. But well, regarding that, what we're already finding is that parents, as they're reading all of these different Nurse Florence books with their kids, that they are reporting that they're learning something new in every book.
Oh, for
So
sure.
this potentially could help the health literacy level of the whole country, not just of the next generation, but to help everybody. So that's what I'm really excited about.
Absolutely. You're definitely on your way with this. I know a lot of our listeners are wondering, you're a busy man. How do you find the time to write 25 books on such serious topics? And how do you do your research?
Well, okay, the disease books, the research is well, okay, all of the books. I get the basic research from my nursing textbooks, which I have kept. I was a good college student, and I've kept all my books.
Oh
and
boy.
but I do explore in depth the Mayo Clinic's disease topic website
Mm.
pages, and so that's what helps guide me for the disease topics. But I think one reason why I'm able to write so efficiently and quickly is I did do all those degrees, and I've had to write a lot of research papers. And there was one program I was in, the health administration program. I was like writing a short paper every week.
Wow.
So I had to be quick and be efficient and effective and and concise with all of my writing to submit it on time every single week.
Of
So
course.
that was intense, but so I think that's the reason why I've been able to do so many is all that writing practice I got over the years. But
So, Michael, you mentioned that your niece was one of your inspirations to writing your first Nurse Florence because she is an illustrator, and or she was very good at illustrating. And the illustrations and the illustrators are important components to your series. What's so unique about them? And I have a lot of questions about the illustrations.
okay, well, we've been recruiting and we're still recruiting some more illustrators because right now this is a hobby for all of us. I hope one day soon I'll be able to offer salaried positions to the illustrators so that the production can even increase more quickly. Um,
How many
uh,
have you used thus far for the 25 books that you've published?
what well right now we have 21 illustrators and
Wow.
we still have about 15 books in production, and we have four others that have just been completed. We got two more, the 26th and 27th just got published, and then we got two more that'll be published in the next week. But so um, so we have some illustrators that have only done one book and that's all they wanted to do. We have a couple like that, and then we have several that have gotten onto their fifth book. So we go at the illustrator speed. I don't give any deadlines because I'm not paying them up front.
Well, tell us what's interesting. I found a few things interesting about your illustrations, and I want you to share what's unique about them with our readers, with our listeners.
Okay. Well, probably what you're referring to is that Nurse Florence is different in every book. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yes, and the diversity of all of your the diversity of the depictions of the characters in the book. They're all different.
So, okay, what we attempt to do is the three little girls that interact with Nurse Florence in every book. We try to have those three girls the same in all of the books. Jean is the white Caucasian with short, blonde, reddish, orangish hair. Condi is our African American girl with straight black hair down to her shoulders, and Sonia is our Hispanic girl with brown hair down to her back. So those three girls try to, you can pick up any book and you'll be able to say, oh, that must be Jean.
Right. They make a connection with them.
Yeah, but Nurse Florence is purposefully different in every book, and the reason for that is we're representing Nurse Florence as every race and ethnicity.
Right. I love that.
Yeah, we're about to have a Native American Nurse Florence here in the next month, from someone that's an actual tribe member out in
Mhm.
California. And we're going to incorporate some of her Indian culture in the book, actually in the text as well as the pictures. But so we want every race and ethnicity represented because we want all the little kids out there to to feel represented,
Of
that
course.
that they could be a nurse too. That it's
Yes.
not just one type of person. We need everybody.
I think
Because
that's really unique, and I really appreciated that about the books. It's what's the age of your youngest illustrator, Michael?
uh, well, that would still be Sandra, and now she's 18.
Okay,
Um,
but
but
that's
but
still pretty young.
she's taking a break because she's a senior in high school and she wants to enjoy her teenage years.
Of
So
course.
but most of the illustrators, most are in their 20s and 30s, and we do have several that are in their 50s and 60s. But I if I interview someone and I see that they can contribute their passion with my passion and we can be a good team, I really don't care who the illustrator is. I just want to do this project.
Of
So
course.
I'm open to everybody. There's no discrimination here. Who's going to be
So,
helping?
so, Michael, you're currently working in a psychiatric hospital. Do you have plans to launch a Nurse Florence series about mental health? I think that would be
Oh,
fascinating.
Okay, so you connect to the dots. So
I did.
Nurse Florence is going to be about 300 to 400 books.
Wow.
And that's because we're gonna discuss every disease topic, so that like a family could go and buy the disease books that afflict only their family. I don't know, maybe 5 books. But some people have rare diseases, some have the common ones. So you could buy the books that affect your family. So once we do Nurse Florence completely, the next book series, I'm not gonna give it away what we're gonna title it. I'm gonna keep that a secret. But yes, it'll be a mental health series. Really, helping kids deal with their stress and anxiety. That all of us have to learn to deal with, but we want to teach healthy coping skills, like I do at the hospital. And I'm excited to start that, but I really want Nurse Florence to be fully developed first.
So
So
the aspiration for Nurse Florence is to really to get to about 300 books, and then your plan is to move on to the mental health
that's
series?
basically the plan.
Yeah, I like it that you include the coping skills, because I feel like that's almost just as important, if not more important, than finding out, exactly what the disease is about, because it really gives them the tools they need.
Yeah, we haven't done a lot of coping skill teaching in the Nurse Florence series. It's mainly just strict health science information, usually. But like our Nurse Florence, how do our fingernails grow? That was like a really neat book that we did. Incorporate a couple of basic techniques
Mhm.
that could do to deal with their stress at school and stuff. But so you know, we have a little bit of coping skills in the Nurse Florence, but the next series is going to really go into depth about all the different types of healthy coping skills we can do.
Wow, really looking forward to that. So, Michael, you have 3 children. How have they helped you, and what do they think about Nurse Florence? Do they have
Okay.
any favorite books?
Well, maybe this is one of the secrets of the Nurse Florence series, but my 9 and my 12-year-old are paid editors of the books.
Keep
So
it in the family. I love it.
they're part of the editorial review process that we have to make sure there's no grammar or misspelled words and things like that, and to make sure that the information is at their level, because
Right.
that 9-year-old is the target range. The third, fourth, and fifth graders is what I who I think will most like the books. But my 12-year-old, he's liking the books just as much as the 9-year-old. So
I
I don't
bet.
know what the cutoff age is gonna be. But yeah, so they're part of the review process. And my daughter, my 9-year-old, she loves to draw, and she is getting so good that very soon she might be one of the next illustrators. So
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, that sounds so great. So, other than your children, what has the feedback been from young people and their parents?
well, you can go to our website, and then I got on the reviews tab at www.nurseflorence.org. There's the reviews page, and I've got uh, I don't know, about 15 or so reviews from Goodreads.com that we've received, and most of them, I would say like 95% of them are very positive. Like I said, some of them have said in those comments that that they read the book with their 4-year-old, and their 4-year-old was amazed with the pictures. And some of the books are even written at a even a lower age than, like, say, a fourth or fifth grader. So the kids were the 4-year-old was able to basically understand what was being said, because we do try to write it simply, so that any age can understand it with a little bit of help, if you're too young. But we've had a lot of positive feedback, and we expect a lot more, so now it's just a matter of time.
Oh, I'm sure it is. So what's something you can share about you, because we know an awful lot about you now that would surprise us.
Oh, well, I do put in the back of the book a little bit about me, but one of my big self-care things is listening to Beethoven. So
Ah,
that's my go-to. That's what I listen to, usually on the way to work and back, or when I'm at home at night while my wife is working. When I'm by myself, I'll listen to that. So Beethoven's music helped get me out of a depression I had about 20 years ago or so, and so his life is inspiring. That he started becoming deaf, but he devoted himself to his passion, his love in life, his music, so that even though he was going to go deaf, he committed to keep writing music. And now we have like the Ninth Symphony and other things like that we would not have if he wouldn't have made that commitment. So his life is inspiring, and his music is very calming to me. And so yeah, that's I guess something about me is Beethoven's music.
that's wonderful. Well, Michael, your life is inspiring, I have to say. And I really wish you the best of success with the Nurse Florence books. And I'm really looking forward to the mental health series as well. So, once again, just let us know how our listeners can find out more about Nurse Florence books and you, and where they can be purchased.
It's www.nurseflorence.org. On that page, you'll get to a link on the front page to our printer, lulu.com, where you can buy it direct from the printer. And actually, I don't know when this video is going to get posted, but for the whole month of November 2022, we're going to have a up to 41% off sale on the paperback books, so that most of the general science books will be $7 instead of the 11.99. So yeah, if you're thinking about like a great Christmas present for your child that has curiosity in life or a love of science, they're going to love the series. And so this month is the time to buy some of the books, and you'll find some links to some interviews I've done, and I'm sure I'll post a link to this interview that we're doing right now on that website too. But yeah, www.nurseflorence.org.
Wonderful. Michael, thank you so much for sharing your incredible journey with us. It was really a pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks, Gabby.
Thank you. Next podcast, we'll meet with Dr. Barbara Koltsuka Haskin, author of How My Brain Works, a guide to understanding it better and keeping it healthy. This is Gabby Olzak of the GAB Talks. Until next time, keep on reading.